podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punches? I was hitting him with body punches, and I heard him actually, he was crying in there.
You
need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the king.
Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Hey, Daddy. This a dollar beat.
BoxingVoice.com. No matter what nobody say, man. Spirit, can't nobody fuck with me, man. You know, I can't be fucked with, you know.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
Whether you pay to see me win, or you pay to see me lose, you're gonna pay. Fuck it, the kids still gotta eat. I don't have to watch, you know, any footage of a fighter. I mean, because I'm Floyd Mayweather, everybody gotta watch me. I knew eventually I was gonna have to fight Oscar. I feel like he was straight up and down, no special effects. BoxingVoice.com. How can Canelo have the biggest deal? Your deal is for $300 million, and I made $350 million just in one fight. And you're fighting on the app. BoxingVoice.com. I'm a king, okay? I eat a feast. Every time I eat a feast. And when I get up from the table, I don't give a fuck who get the leftovers. At the end of the day, follow my green print.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing voice.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday morning. Thank God we're all awake. We're back. Hopefully no one got the coronavirus, and we're here to talk some boxing. I know that there isn't much sports out there for you, but your daily boxing podcast will be here. Rain, sleet, snow, coronavirus, we're here. And today we're going to be talking about boxing's biggest stars, but not in a traditional sense. Not the present stars, but the stars to be. The future, stars on the rise. Who has the star power? Who has pay-per-view potential? Who can be a marquee fighter? And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking a look at ESPN's Boxing's Biggest Stars on the Rise article. They've compiled a list, and we'll put that list versus our own list, the people's list. You know, the callers. You call in and you get to pick your top five. Who do you think is your top five stars on the rise? But we're going to do things, like I said, different. We're going to rank these fighters. So hypothetically, if we're talking Ryan, we're not just ranking Ryan's skill or his resume, things that we do every single day, things that become redundant and boring, arguments that just turn into shouting matches. Instead, we'll rate his ability to draw ratings, his ability to be a pay-per-view star. How many buys can he get? We'll rate on a 1 to 5, 5 being the best you can give him, 1 being the very lowest. What sort of a social media presence does said fighter have? How does he conduct himself in interviews? Does he have the ability to speak? We'll rank him 1 through 5. How's he look? Is he handsome? Can he sell tickets? Will he be the next Oscar De La Hoya bringing in the women? We'll rank him. Highest ceiling. Where do you see this fighter topping out? We'll rank him 1 through 5. 5 being the highest. So get yourself some pen and paper. We're going to get interactive today. I want you to engage with us. Make sure that you're writing down how many points you're giving each fighter, because we're not done. Best boxer, best boxing skill. So I guess some people will be getting points just based on their skill. Does he have knockout power? Can he get the KO? What is his ability to KO people? We'll rank him. The biggest market. Which fighter has the biggest market? Who can draw the most? Who has the most potential? And last but not least, worldwide interest. Who is a worldwide star? Who is known internationally, globally? This is how we're going to do, I guess, ESPN's list. Because they put a lot of fighters there, old and new, faded, and I guess fresh. And we really have to dissect this list because just off a little glance, it seems a bit Top Rank heavy. I know ESPN works for Top Rank or Top Rank works for ESPN. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, man, let me head on out to my co-host Mario Munguia in Corpus Christi, Texas, who's going to help me out with this particular article and podcast. So if you haven't done so already, please. It helps with the visibility of the show. It helps us grow. It helps get other boxing fans that are roaming around like the Walking Dead because they have no boxing to watch, nowhere to talk. They're looking for a place. This is the place. And if you hit that thumbs up button, they will be able to find us, call in, participate, and give their ranking on all these said fighters.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to do this. Honestly, when I saw this list, shout out to Steve, our caller who calls in faithfully and always has something great to bring to the topic. He brought up their list of, I think, like biggest stars is what it was. They did two. They did this one that we're going to kind of go over a little bit, rising stars. Ness, perfect explanation. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Exactly what we want to do today. Exactly what we want to accomplish. We don't want to rank these fighters. We don't want to get into a fight. This is about bringing us all together and agreeing. I'm not going to sit up here and we're not going to talk about, Tank is the fifth best superstar behind Ryan Garcia and then me name a bunch of Mexicans that I like. Like, no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to turn this into any of, it's not about that. This is about really diving deep and seeing what potential does a Ryan Garcia really have. And even though right now Garcia's star seems a little brighter in terms of where he could go, Tank is the higher guy up the list. But in 10 years, where are they? And I think these questions bring them down. And so, actually, Ness, you did it perfect. And I just really want to do one just to kind of show everyone. So I'm going to do this one real quick. This is how it's going to kind of go. We're going to take someone like Andy Ruiz, and we'll get to the ESPN article real quick. But let me just do this real quick. So we'll take someone like Andy Ruiz, who was on the ESPN list of rising stars. Now, Andy Ruiz isn't like a young guy per se. He's definitely has some experience in the ring. He already has a big win. Most of these guys on the list don't really have their like marquee win yet. But that's why I want to use Andy Ruiz, because he wouldn't, in my opinion, he wouldn't be on this list. Not because I don't think he'll be a star, but just because he's already kind of on the rise to like a certain extent, right? And a lot of other things happen. A lot of things are hampered by his ability to rise. So anyway, we'll go like through his ability to draw ratings and pay-per-view buys. He's been on pay-per-view, so that helps. Well, not pay-per-view, but he's been on the big stage is what I meant to say. He's got fights that are readily available to him. So from a 1 through 5 ranking, 1 where he's not able to draw very well or his pay-per-view buys won't be very good. And 5 being that he's a huge star and he could make it up to the echelon of a possible Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo type. I would put him at about a 4. And for a lot of reasons, but number 1, because it's the heavyweight division. So then we'll go
number
down
1 because you're Mexican and he's Mexican.
Nah, see that. We'll see how many people agree with me. But okay, so where would you put his ability to sell pay-per-views, like right now and into the future?
Well, if we're talking about Andy Ruiz, I think he's already a star. Okay. I think that
that's why I started with this one.
I think that we've discussed this, from many different angles. We've seen his rise from, zero popularity to about what? I think he had like 45,000, maybe 26,000 subscribers on IG, and he's well over 2 million. He's an international star, global, worldwide interest, right? All right, so let's take it from the top. Andy Ruiz is the fighter. These are the categories. His ability to draw ratings or pay-per-view. Well, he hasn't done a pay-per-view, but we have to imagine, had any one of those two Joshua fights been pay-per-view in the U.S., I'm going to bank that he would have did well because it was pay-per-view in the UK and it broke records. It broke records.
Great point.
Moving on to the second category. Is Andy Ruiz a star based on social media presence? Abso-fucking-lutely. There's about 5 fighters in boxing that are active and have social media with millions of followers. Everyone is in the 100,000s. Very few boxers are in the millions of followers. And those names are actively Joshua, Ryan Garcia, Ruiz, Gervonta, in that order, I believe. Actually, you got to put in Tyson and Wilder because they increased tremendously. But Ruiz is in between. I'm actually going to pull out and check because I know he's in the 2 millions. I want to see, is he further than Wilder? Is he tied with Wilder? Because that gives you a position. But in terms of social media presence, I'm giving homeboy at least a 4.5 because the only other person on this list that can even phase him in terms of followers is Gervonta and Ryan. And I'm double checking just to make sure because I believe they're both below him. Ryan got 5.4. Gervonta Davis has 2.1. So that means that Deontay surpasses Davis. Deontay has 2.9. Let's see, does Ruiz fall under or above Wilder? Because he's definitely below both Joshua and Ryan. And he does. He's under Wilder at 1.6. So, and under Fury. But that's still a 4. I'm still giving him a 4. I'm gonna drop it from 4.5 to about a 4 because you got Gervonta above him, and that's it. Like outside of heavyweights, who are Joshua, Tyson, and Wilder, Andy ain't doing too bad with 1.6. That's pretty fucking impressive.
You're absolutely right. And here's why. Okay, look, I think you were right the first time with the 4.5 because you got to think, though, for a second. Does Wilder and Fury have more, like, in a literal sense? In reality, yeah, absolutely. The numbers don't lie. But when you look at it and everything Andy Ruiz has gained off of really, like, this stretch of, I don't know, what was it, like 4 months before he lost again? Like I'm talking about from the build up to the win to, back to like he did all that damage with social media in that one, little instance. And so imagine where he is, so if we're talking about him as a future star, which again, we already said that this is a guy that I don't really feel like we should have been talking about. I just wanted to use him as an example. This is a guy who's definitely on the rise, and it could be meteoric. It could be meteoric. It could be if he
I disagree
does the right
with
things.
You that we shouldn't be talking about him or that he shouldn't be on the list because the issue is Andy's going to continue to pass the tests on these questions, right? Like I'll continue.
That's why I don't think he belongs.
But this is the thing. He does because he hasn't had a chance to prove he's a star. He got his, like you said, meteoric rise June 1st with the upset. Then that upward tick continued until December 7th.
Sure.
He's had a plateau because he lost in the fashion that he lost. He would have kept ticking up. He would have been, I thought he was above 2 million. He's not, and that could be because there's upset fans. Now, right now, he has enough elements on this list to put him in a star building fight, star making fight, right? He'll be one of those components to make it that type of fight, but he hasn't proven it without a Joshua. So we need to see how well he does versus an Areola, versus Travis Kaufman, versus a Luis Ortiz, if that's pay-per-view. Let's see what he does on a standalone. To say that he's there already without proving it, I can't give him that. That's why I like him on this list.
Okay, I feel you there. I do. I hear what you're saying. We'll go over one more before we go to the ESPN list. I'll go over.
Well, let's stick to Ruiz because he's on that list. So this way we knock
he is
one
on that
off.
list. Okay, that's fine.
And there's still other categories like interviewability. What's Ruiz's ability to speak? Well, I'm not going to say that he's the best speaker, but I'm going to say that he's not shy at all. Ever since he got popular, that's probably been the knock on him, that he was doing too many interviews, that he didn't cancel interviews, he didn't get back to camp. So I'm going to say he's a good speaker. I've watched all his series on Dank City. I've watched him speak on Sky Sports. I watched the Face Off. He's a great speaker. I give him a 5. I give him a 5. I don't see him stutter. I don't see him get caught up with words. You know, he flows well. He has great he's like charismatic. The way that he smiled in that face off at AJ, you know, he really had us believing that he had the rematch in the bag. His confidence was at an all-time high, and I like confidence. It didn't play out, but I like confidence, so I'll give him points for that. How about you?
Yo, I agree. I give him a 5. When I first saw him on Jimmy Kimmel, you know, when I heard he was going on Jimmy Kimmel, I was like, uh-oh. Because I've interviewed Andy before, and he's a great speaker, but he was always like either too much because he was getting ready for a fight or not enough because he was coming off a fight. You know what I mean? So it was all like I always got him in the wrong time. I never really got to see the real Andy. And man, that was the real Andy that showed up on Kimmel. He was amazing. He was amazing. He was just oozing charisma through the screen. And he wasn't even like, you know, it wasn't like he was talking too much or too little. It was just, I don't know. He had almost this like Triple G kind of humble brag about him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he's got that likable character where he doesn't say much, but you just like him.
And that translates into different markets. People can resonate there. When you're Canelo and you can only speak Spanish. Here's the thing. As big a star as Canelo is, I think he would have been a much bigger star if his English would have, you know, if he would have learned the English better, you know, and he's really not bad at English. A lot of people don't know that he actually understands it fairly well. He's just not comfortable to speak it in front of the media. But if he would have, I think he'd still be a bigger star at this point if he would have learned English. The fact that we have Andy Ruiz that could do this, you know, and be this guy, it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing because now he can cross barriers and people can get to know him in different countries and on different platforms and in different ways. And so I think that's just a huge, huge thing. And so as far as his look, you know, when we're talking about look, we're talking about his face, you know, his body, his swag. Man, I'm going to give him like a 2.5 here. Based on the fact that, look, he has the swag. He has a really good look. His face, you know, all of that, it pans out. But that body, it just doesn't give you the same type of feel that when you saw Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield, you thought those guys were Greek gods. And unless Andy can get to at least some version of himself where he's in the kind of shape that translate physically, that's going to hold him back a bit. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't matter. If you're a boxer, as long as your stamina is there, you're good to go. You know what I mean? So he can look the way he looks. If he can go 12, that's fine. And that's all that really matters. But when we're talking about future stars, he's got to get in better shape.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to give him maybe like a 3.8 on look, face, body, swag. I'm going to actually round it off to a 4.
What?
And I'm going to say where you're taking points away because of body, I'm going to give him points because the rest of the world doesn't look like Anthony Joshua. We look like Andy Ruiz, and that's exactly why he gained the amount of subscribers of heavyweights in the top 3 in a span of 4 to 6 months, because there's more people that can relate to him than they can relate to a Greek god. So, yeah, he doesn't scare you like Mike Tyson did, but that's why he's got that look. The guy next door, your neighbor, the nice guy, you know?
Bro,
people see him eating pizza, and he's just a nice guy. He took pictures with AJ's belts, but then, you know, he's got swag. When it was time for him to give the belts to AJ, he said, no way, Jose, you're going to have to take these to take a picture. So there's swag there. He's got the look, like I said. And Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 4, man. I'm gonna give him a 4.
Wow, new year, new nest. That's the optimism I didn't expect, but I see your point very well, and I never thought about it like that. You're right. There is some sort of kind of I don't know. I was gonna say nostalgia. That's definitely not what it is. It's just definitely relatable. So you're right. I get that. And as a chubby Mexican myself, throughout the last, I don't know, 10 years, constantly working on, building strength and then letting it all go, during the winter is, definitely something I can relate to. So yeah, I get that. I like that a lot. Well, look, as far as his ceiling and where he could go, it is capped by his inability to remain disciplined. Now, are we talking about Chris Arreola here? No, it's not like he's fooled us once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but he is definitely in a situation where that's a question on everybody's mind. And that is never going to be a star-making attribute. His ceiling, in my opinion, is going to be a 3. I'm going to put it right in the middle. The reason why is because he's got all the potential in the world. He's got a 5 potential in reality, but his inefficiency to prove that he can do the right things necessary inside the gym will hinder his ability to rise up the ranks as a star, a true star of boxing. That could hold him back. A 3 is what I give him.
No way, man. Okay, so the topic is highest ceiling. What is Andy Ruiz's highest ceiling? And I think that this is the thing. It's very hard to answer that until he has another fight without Joshua. Because he hasn't had a fight without Joshua, and we've seen everything that happened from those 2 fights, everything that he's gained. Let me rephrase that. Everything that he's gained from those 2 fights. It's almost impossible to say that his ceiling is low. He showed he has the power to knock out an elite level heavyweight. So until he shows a pattern of this, not taking things serious the way people like to peg this on him, because this is the first time that we've seen him come in overweight for a huge fight. So I'm not going to stick that label on him. And I'm going to say the fact that he is Mexican-American, 36.8 or 36.6 million Mexican-Americans in America, that means his ceiling is super high. He's just going to have to prove to people like you that he could complete a successful 8-week, 10-week training camp without coming into the ring with any excuses. But until he does that, I think it's too soon to say exactly where his ceiling is other than the top, because he's the only guy to beat Joshua. No one else has done that, so he put himself up there.
Yeah. Hey, 7 minutes to our first. But looks, I think that you're absolutely right to a degree, but I don't think that you could really truly evaluate his ceiling. It's like, okay, look, how high is the ceiling? You're right, it's a 5, but he's also got an anvil tied to his ankle in the form of disciplinary weight issues. So I'll leave it at that. As far as his boxing skills go and his ability, I'm gonna look at what he has now, because for a lot of these guys on the list, I'm going to be looking to the future. How much can they grow? A Devin Haney, a Tank, Ryan Garcia, they're not as good now as they will be in the future. They're going to learn through ups and downs. But as far as his boxing ability, I'm going to keep it within the heavyweight division. I'm going to give him like a 4. I think he's a really talented boxer. I don't think people give him enough credit. I mean, people definitely see that he was always much more talented than we all understood before Joshua, and I knew that. But his amateur pedigree was solid. Like, he was a very highly touted blue chipper coming into Top Rank when they signed him so many years ago. Man, imagine if they still had him. So Andy was with them, and his boxing ability was one of the things they liked the most. And so I'm going to give it a 4. I think that there are a lot of guys in the heavyweight division that he's better at boxing wise, skill wise. But again, from physical prowess to just size, because there's a lot of guys bigger than him, it doesn't mean that he's going to beat all these people.
I mean, for me, I'm going to run through the last 4 categories quickly. Boxing, a best boxer or best skill. He's not the best boxer, but he's definitely proved that he has one of the best skills by doing what no one has ever done. People can write it off as a fluke, but he beat Joshua. So, again, he's got to be put in that conversation of one of the best. He's definitely top 5 in the heavyweight division because of the win. Does he have KO ability? Absolutely. So, best boxer, best skill, I'm going to say he's around a 3.9, 3.8 because we got to see can he do it again, but he showed real elite level power. So, KO ability, I'm going to say 5. He showed he could knock out one of the best heavyweights, or at the time, the best heavyweight. Biggest market, I'm going to say 5. He's Mexican-American. He's no other, I mean, I don't know. I got to check, I guess, the census on African-Americans. You know, could they be a bigger market? But I'm going to give him a 5 regardless because whether African-Americans have the same amount of numbers as Mexican-American, he's still up there. You know, 36.6 or 36.8, that's hell of a lot of people to tap into. So he definitely has one of the biggest markets. And does he have worldwide interest? Well, of course. You know, he was an overnight success. He went on every TV show, every radio show. He did everything, all the ESPNs. He fought in, RADA, and he fought in the U.S. in Madison Square. And he got international coverage because of the event and how big it was. So absolutely, he's worldwide. I'll give him a 5 on worldwide because he shocked the world. So I truly believe he went worldwide. He went viral. And 5 on biggest market. Like I said, I'll do like a 3.9, I guess, 4 on KO ability and 4 on best boxer, best skill. So I really didn't give him any 3s, I don't think. It was, I got all 4s and 5s all the way down.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I didn't want him on the list for the exact reasons that you just went over. I agree with you on all those things. I feel like he's already got that he's already got stardom by the ankle. You know, he's just gripping that shit and he's ready to take it. And a lot of these other guys on the list, they're not there yet. You know what I mean? This guy's already been to the mountaintop. It's like worldwide interest.
I still feel that
he fought on that worldwide platform.
But I still feel that we're all waiting for him to prove that it wasn't a fluke.
Okay, sure. And from that aspect, I understand where you're coming from. It's just, yeah, man, look, a 4.55 is probably what he's averaging right now, with us in our rankings. How are our callers going to, see it? How are Super Chat's going to see it? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're going to agree with us on this guy. I don't think they're going to agree with us with the rest of the people on the list necessarily, but I think, and that's why this guy, Andy wasn't just, there's nothing controversial about him on this list because he is kind of there. But let me go over the ESPN list real quick. Do you want me to do that? I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I'm just going to go over some things that stand out and some that I agree with. Cool?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to go over 3 guys. So they did a tier system. ESPN did a tier system. They used things like global drawing power, regional drawing power, boxing ability, and intangibles. Now, we did.
I didn't like intangibles.
Here's the thing: intangibles is basically what we're doing, but more descriptive. We broke down what are those intangibles, and we broke them down. Ability, market. What else do we have? KO ability, all that stuff. So we broke down, and I agree. I think intangible is a little too vague. And some of these guys, you'll see. But from like a Jose Ramirez standpoint, he was their first guy on the list. He's in the 3rd tier, which is the lowest tier. They have 3 tiers.
I just want to note, Top Rank fighter. ESPN has a deal with Top Rank. Just connecting the dots for you.
You're absolutely right. This was done by Dan Raphael and Steve Kim using this 4-part criteria. And so, listen, Jose Ramirez, whether he is a top rank guy or not, and I agree there are a lot more guys associated with Top Rank than I think there should be. But Jose Ramirez, I don't think he absolutely belongs on this list. This kid has something special. I didn't see it in him early on in his career. Coming off the 2012 Olympic class, I didn't think he was even one of the better guys coming out of that class, but he has shown that he has skill. But not only does he have skill, he knows what makes fights. He knows what makes this thing work and turn, and he feeds that machine, and he does it in a very, very specific way. And so I see a lot of potential in him. And not only that, he's at a weight class right now where there are a lot of possibilities and there are a lot of things he can do. Will he upset the apple cart against a big name like Crawford or a big name like I guess I don't know, but I can tell you that he's going to get there. He's definitely going to get there. He's going to get to the big stage. So that's one guy I think that they put on the list that was pretty good. One guy that I was kind of a little bit thrown by was Murata, Toyota, as you call him. I don't know why he's on this. Okay, look, I know why he's on this list, because he's a huge star. He is a huge, huge star in Japan, and he's highly touted. And so, he turned professional in 2013 after winning the gold medal at the 12 Olympics, right? But here's the thing, he's 34 years old, and while he does have a lot of ability, I don't know if that ability translates to worldwide markets. I can't see him being a huge star in the UK or a huge star in the United States. And to me, that's what makes it. Like, Floyd Mayweather's a huge star no matter what. Canelo, Pacquiao, these are names that are synonymous with sports, not just boxing. And these guys would be recognized almost anywhere. Murata, I don't think he'd be recognized anywhere. And so the one last guy that I wanted to bring up that they talked about is a guy that I put on the list, and that is Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was not somebody that I would have ever considered to be a star if we go back 2-3 years ago. Not a world star, not a huge pay-per-view type draw. But I can see it now. He's got this charm, he's got this charisma, and he's got this way of producing fights that matter. So when you go and you tell your friend you need to watch this fight, this is going to be a good fight. Hey, come over. We're going to make some barbecue. I'm going to invite everybody over to watch the fights. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, man, watch this guy. He is going to produce. I've had guys let me down before. You know what I mean? I've come over and I say, hey, man, wait till you see F.A. This dude's a monster. And then he gets dropped and I'm like, oh, man, and F.A. is great, but I'm just making a point. But Josh Taylor's a guy who was like, I didn't believe in it first, and now I think he could be a star. Anybody on this list that stands out to you, Ness, good or bad?
I mean, stands out, I guess you mean don't belong?
Don't belong, or
Runs
you
VI
didn't realize belonged until they showed you.
Kit Kat Soren Rungs VI doesn't belong. I don't know how they considering him a star. Yeah, he might have beat some big names in his division, but I mean, we just went down the criteria to be a star. He doesn't tap into any of them,
Yeah, he's getting 1s and 2s across the board for me.
Across the board, so that's out.
Except for
I was
skill.
shocked to see Thurman. I would have put Thurman.
Good point.
I would have put Thurman because I know that he's got star power. If we go down the list for Thurman, he's killing it. He's a great speaker, so he could get a 5 there. You know what I mean? Maybe he gets a 4, maybe a 3.5 from some of these fans because he hasn't gotten a knockout in some time. So maybe he get a 3 or a 4 on the power. But I mean, going down the list, ability to draw pay-per-views, he gets a 5. There's no other young up-and-coming welterweight, not named Manny Pacquiao or Floyd, that's been able to do 500,000-600,000. That's just Thurman. Now, yeah, you can sit here and argue with me till your face turns blue that he did it with Pacquiao, but so did Broner, and he couldn't do what Thurman did. So you got to give Thurman credit. Give him on the pay-per-views, especially since no one's been able to do 500-600. I'm giving him a 5 out of this new crop. Earl's had all the hype. He's had all the backing. He had Floyd talking about how good he was and, making him look good in the media, and he still only did 325. So, got to give credit to Thurman. Then you talk about social media presence. I mean, I think if we go through the numbers, maybe he's hurting. I could see a 3.5, a 3 on the social media. Interview ability to speak, give that man a 5. We all know that he is a fantastic speaker. He had the promotion for the Manny Pacquiao fight lit up with the Manny Pacquiao T-Rex arms impersonation and things like that. He don't play. He did it with the Sean Porter and his father, told us about the tape. He knows how to promote, so don't hate. Face, body, swag, bing, 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 fives all across, man. You already know my man got the good looks. He looks good enough that he was inaugural for every PBC event. He's been commentating on most PBC events. I mean, model status, for real. Swag all day, highest ceiling, I'm going to have to give him a 3.5 for there because we just don't know anymore. Is he done because of all these injuries, Is he the best boxer, best skill? I'm going to give him a 4.5. I think that landing all those right hands on Manny Pacquiao, which I'm sure if you check CompuBox, no one in history has ever landed that many right hands on him. I think that shows his skill. You could go to his fights and see that he could box, he could bang, he could get on his toes. He's got numerous gears, and that's variety, and I like that. So I'm going to give him definitely a 4.5 on boxing skill. KO abilities, definitely shown that, but on the elite level, they kind of died down. So I'll give him a 4 because his power's still dangerous. And biggest market, I always thought he was this generation's next Floyd. I swear, if he would have beat Pacquiao with the way he talks, the way he looks, his ability to promote a fight, insane. I don't know why the boxing gods didn't christen him that day, knowing that Pacquiao is faded and old and ready to go. He didn't get, the light of the gods to shine on him that day. But I still think that Thurman, he's definitely a guy that could. Again, biggest market, I'm going to just give him a 4 because he showed that in the pay-per-view with Pacquiao. He shows that in all his inaugural events that he's done, he gets the most views. 4 millions, 5 millions. Like, the dude's doing big numbers. And that's free TV. And then worldwide interest, I don't know. But he did fight Pacquiao. So, that's just a different level of promotion. It does reach out and expand internationally to all those markets that Pacquiao was in. So I'm going to give him like a 3.5 on that. But you see, he got more threes than Andy.
Here's the thing. I agreed with everything except the market. The market is, here's the thing. If you look at a guy like Crawford and a guy like Wilder, let's try to forget about where they are now, pound for pound and top heavyweights making all this money. Let's remember where they were, for Bud, maybe right between the HBO era of his career. This guy was selling out his hometown. Wilder can go to Bama and he could be 84 years old and hop in the ring and he's going to sell it out. You know what I'm saying? To me, those are guys with great markets. They might not have everybody, but they definitely have their place.
Thurman sold out versus Collazo, and that wasn't even his home. He had to drive an hour and some change.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm just not going to give him a 4. That's definitely look, for those that don't know, I definitely used to make mixtapes in high school and a little bit in college, and I remember meeting Big Hawk. If y'all are familiar with the Houston rap scene, he was a legend, and I met him at a concert he was doing, and he was kind of giving shop to a bunch of the local rappers. And I remember the one thing he said, and I've heard this so many times now in documentaries, it must be like something that they tell people in the industry: if you're gonna conquer the rap game, you got to conquer your home first, and that's like such a true statement. You got to be big in Corpus before you're big in South Texas, and you got to be big in South Texas before you're big in Texas, and before you're big in the United States, you got to be, or this region of the United States, you got to be big in Texas, and then you got to be big in the United States if you want to be a global star. Like, it just goes on and on. And so that's what I see with market. Like, if you're a Mexican and you have the ability to look into, or to reach out to Mexicans, and they'll understand you and they'll see the cultural aspirations and all of that in you, then they're going to relate to you, and your market's going to eventually grow and be big. But if you're a fighter in the United States you got to conquer that market. And guys like Terrence Crawford and Wilder have been doing it while they were on the rise, while you could consider them, prospects, I guess. So they those are definitely guys that stand out to me. And if I put them against Thurman, then no, his market is not a 4 to me. I would put it around a 2. But I'm gonna jump off yours. I agreed with most of your stuff. I'm gonna go one more guy on this list, Daniel Jacobs.
How the fuck is Thurman's? How is Thurman's? I know this ain't a debate show, but how is Thurman's market a 2 when he's got the highest numbered pay-per-view of all the young fighters?
I just think he's capped
or the
out.
highest pay-per-views in the last, I don't know, 4 years, not named Floyd? Come on, bro.
I don't know. I just think that his market. Look, I'm not saying he's not a star. He doesn't have star potential, because all those things you listed, I probably would have given him a 4 or 5. His skill, his swag, his ability to, his I'm sorry, I just lost the one I was saying, but interview ability, his ceiling as far as, how many fights that could be made and all of that type of stuff. His ceiling is still very high. You know what I mean? But as far as market, I don't know. I don't know. Is he just killing it in Florida all the time? Does he go to New York and everybody's like gathered around him? It's just one of those things where I'm not really sure how much it translates in the numbers that he's done, where he was the B-side, and what reflection that is on him. And you made that point yourself. You said, okay, some detractors will say this, but it's not a debate show. You're right. Daniel Jacobs is a guy that I was surprised that was on the list as well. Not because he doesn't deserve it, because I thought it would be overlooked. But I absolutely
I was surprised that they got him as like a star, like a dude that could be a star.
Exactly. But they're absolutely right. Look, as far as ability to draw, social media presence, interview, all of that, worldwide interest, all of that, and I hate to put this way, because I feel like I'm monetarily or trying to turn his story in his fight with his battle with cancer into like a monetary gain. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. All I'm saying is that his story is so great, and it can relate to so many people.
Stick to the topic. I mean, stick to the category and give numbers, because he ain't no star.
Okay, but that's the thing. He's a star on the rise. Could he be a star? His ability to draw ratings, probably not super high, but you got to give him at least a base of 3.5, because he's been in there with Canelo, because he's been in there with Golovkin.
I'm giving him a 2.5 to save time. Okay.
I like that. I like that idea. You're right.
I'm giving him a 2.5 because when he did 2 pay-per-views, what he did? He did one with Jacobs. I mean, one with Gennady. It only did 170, and that was it. It took for him to get with Canelo to do numbers, and he doesn't have an ability to draw. If he had an ability to draw, his promoter wouldn't be doing fights in Vegas. Then when the opponent, who's supposed to be the B side, truly A side undercover, can't get licensed in Vegas, move the whole show to a location where the opponent can get licensed, where the opponent is still a draw, and where the opponent brings in all the fucking fans in Arizona. So, yeah, I mean, look, you want to go the cancer story route? Cool. But his social media only proves 200,000. Yeah. So how much did you get? Not much. I can name offhand Jamal Charlo, who ain't, and I quote, touching M's, got more people following him than 200,000. So he's not on this list for the right reasons.
Yeah, you know what? Going down it, we can actually skip him. And this is why I think our version of this is a little bit more comprehensive and better, because you get a name like Jacobs, and automatically I went to his story and how it can be so relatable, and how, I mean, look, it's going to be a movie one day. It absolutely will.
Bro, look, just go down the list,
if you break
though.
It down, exactly, that's what I'm saying. But then you said break it down, go down the list, and I'm giving him like 2s and 3s all across the board.
Listen,
except for boxing ability.
Doing it quick, ability to draw ratings and pay-per-view, 2. Social media presence, 2. Interviews and speakability, all right, 4.55. I'm not going to hate on him. Look, face, body, swag, 4.55. Highest ceiling, he got a ceiling. He couldn't beat Canelo. He couldn't beat Gennady. Like, he got a ceiling. He's like a 3.5 on a ceiling. He can't beat the top. You know what I mean? KO ability, can't KO the top. Biggest market, no market to speak of. Even though we thought he had one, he doesn't draw. Worldwide interest, none, bro. He don't got no international interest. Ain't nobody talking about let's bring Jacobs to the UK. Let's do a fight with Jacobs and Thriller and Manila or whatever. They ain't doing it, man.
So the only one I disagree with you, I was going to go through mine, but all the numbers you hit, or I agree, but the one I'm going to disagree with is highest ceiling. You're talking about what he did against Golovkin and Canelo, arguably one of the most dangerous middleweights of all time, and arguably the pound for pound fighter.
Yeah, but that's the top.
But if he does that type, I know. And what's the ceiling that could be? Could he get in there with the Charlos and beat the shit out of him? Absolutely.
But that's not. But you're using the wrong word, dog. You can't use the word ceiling, which is the top. You can't, like, if I stand on my chair, I hit the ceiling. That means I can't go above it. So if Jacobs can't go above Gennady and Canelo, motherfucker, his ceiling can't be up there. He keeps hitting the top. He keeps hitting the ceiling. They standing on the ceiling.
It's not that I'm wrong. It's that my premise hinges on Charlos becoming bigger stars than they are now. So, I guess that makes me wrong in the first place. But that's where I was thinking is like more of like, where would his star be if he were to be the guy that dethrones Jamal? If he were to be the guy that, takes out some of these guys at middleweight and super middleweight, kind of, getting rid of the guys that can't stand. Like, I don't know. I think his star rises a little bit, but yeah, I guess I see your point. You're right. You know what? But look, this is why we're doing it this way. This is why we're breaking it down this way, Ness, because this is how it proves, like, we'll go through this list and we give them 1 through 5 and like, where are we with this guy? Well, we just realized that he doesn't make our cut, and I look, Jacobs is one of my favorite fighters. I love Jacobs. I've always enjoyed interviewing him and talking to him, but he don't make the cut. And yeah, man, you just showed me that. So.
Yeah, man. So who's next?
Okay, so we're going to start our list. I put this comprehensive list of fighters together. I'm going to edit it real quick because we definitely talked about Jose Ramirez. Unless you want to go through one by one, we can. But I already got him off of this list. Let's start at the top. Ryan Garcia. Now this, again, is not a list of 1 through 10, like who's the best. I'm just randomly putting people out there. It was literally the first names that came to my mind, and then I went and read off the list of ESPN to see who I missed. But I was just, that's why it's 1 through 10 like this. So I just want to make this clear. I'm not saying Ryan Garcia belongs above Gervonta or above a Virgil Ortiz or above a Shakur Stevenson. I'm just simply saying that this is the first guy on the list. So the first guy on the list, Ryan Garcia, obviously he's a guy who, he has a lot about him to like, but as far as his ability to draw and his ability to create pay-per-view buys in the future, again, that's where we're going with this, where he could go, I'm going to put him at like a 4. I think that there are so many fights available to him that will be big time fights, huge fights that people consider down the road. And that's really the staple of a pay-per-view fight, is how good is that fight. I know that in this era it has gotten away from that a little bit, but that was the true meaning of a pay-per-view fight, a fight that was so big and so good. And now it's turned into a pay-per-view fight is how we pay for certain fights. You know what I mean? Do we have the ability? Do we have the network money? Do we have the budget? No? Okay, throw it on pay-per-view. And that's kind of what pay-per-views become. Obviously stars belong on there, and so he's a star. He definitely has star ability. So I'm going to give him a 4 on that.
Who we talking about?
Ryan Garcia.
Oh, shit. Let's see. Ability to draw ratings. I'm going to give him a 5. And people are going to say, but bro, that's too high. He's never done pay-per-view. How are you giving? He hasn't even fought anyone. If he fights Linares, that's his biggest fight. But he told us a story about how popular he is based off his social media. We laughed at him. You weren't on the show then, Mario, but we laughed at him. I actually
heard that interview, though.
I laughed at him. I said, this dude's crazy. He thinks because he got 3 million at the time on social media that all 3 million people are watching him. He's crazy. It's free to follow you on Instagram. Then he sat down with his manager and said, fuck that. We pulling the squeeze on Golden Boy. If they don't up us on money and treat us like we stars, we walking. And he came out and he did more interviews and he said, man, tell them to show me my numbers. I know I'm bringing in more numbers than that. And sure enough, they had to show his numbers. Sure enough, they sat him down and renegotiated his contract, and Ryan is boss status. So, yes, I did laugh. and he proved that he does have that draw power. He showed even Dazn to renegotiate that contract with Golden Boy. So I'm gonna give him that. I'm gonna give him a 5.
Well, that answer goes straight into our next one, which is social media presence. This is going to be quick. 5, 5, 5, 5 across the boards. There can't be any way you don't give this kid a 5, probably a 6 for his social media ability. And here's the one thing I'm going to try to add to it. He understands what trolling is. He understands the nature of social media better than a lot of his cohorts, a lot better than a lot of fighters, even younger fighters that should know better, that grew up in the age of technology and YouTube and Twitter and Reddit. And so he gets it. He gets what he's supposed to be doing. He gets how he's supposed to lure people into his world. And so for that, it's a 5. And that's good. That 5 for social media should be higher because it's going to bleed into things like ability to draw, into his market, worldwide interest, all of that, his ceiling, his swag, it all bleeds in. So it's a 5 for social media presence for me.
Yeah, man. Let me just go down it like you did. Social media presence 5, interview and ability to speak 5, look, face, body, swag. I'm gonna give him a 4.5. I don't know that he got swag, cause when first of all he got clowned in his own post fight, and he kind of was showing. He showed that he was submissive, right? Like he showed that. He's fearful of Haney. He gave a 4-fight plan, and he said, I'm going to beat this one, I'm going to beat this one, I'm going to beat this one. Then me and Devin can fight. So he didn't even say, then I'm going to beat Devin. Then I'm going to take his belt. Like, he said he want to be a champ, and he just went this whole other route. So I can't really give him a 5 on swag and stuff like that because, I don't know, that ain't look right. Higher ceiling, I'm going to give him a 5 because right now, all signs point to this kid easily being a star. So there is no ceiling as of yet. Best boxer? No. Best skill? He's got skill. And the left hook proves that. They were working on it. He came into the camp with a good left hook, and Eddie Reynoso is now helping him master that left hook, and he's knocked out his last 2 opponents in first-round knockouts. So, yeah, which brings me to KO ability. Yes, he does. Give him a 5 on that. Biggest market, Mexican-American. Give him a 5 on that. Worldwide interest, absolutely. Give him a 5 on that because he's now with Canelo, and that's been about a year hanging with Canelo. And you can see, like I said, when we laughed at him, he had $3 million. He renegotiated his contract for Romeo Duno or Duno Romero, some shit, and then he just had the Fonseca fight. So it's only been 2 fights since the renegotiation. He's already at 5.4. So the kid gains followers quick as hell. But remember that he started at 3, then he got with Reynoso for the Romero fight. So 2.4 came after that connection with Canelo, which I'm blaming on international exposure. Continuing to show your face with Canelo, not only on your social media, but his interviews on Dazn with Canelo, features from Dazn saying that Canelo's mentoring you, taking you under, like, it adds to the interest. So yeah, 5 for me.
Yeah, listen, the last thing I'm going to say about this is his worldwide interest. I'm going to give him a 4 only because I think he needs to master his Spanish a little bit better. And this isn't a dig. I know that he got a lot of flack when, a couple years ago for, not
you can't
Spanish.
say that. I know you want to finish and give me your reason, but you can't say that because you ain't taking half a point from Canelo for not knowing English. So you want him to learn Spanish.
We're not talking about a star in the United States. We're talking about a worldwide star.
Yeah, but
there's so many Spanish-speaking countries that would.
Bruh, English is the universal language. It's the #1 used language in the world. So if Canelo don't fucking learn English, he's the one behind the time. Yeah, English is universal.
You're right about that.
Brother, man, I've been over like 7 countries, my nigga. They use English everywhere. You don't land in an airport and they talking to you in Spanish or Portuguese, bro. They use English everywhere. It's universal, champ. You can't tell me how you gonna. You gotta take points from Canelo then, because his ass don't know fucking English.
Well, listen, but Canelo is a worldwide star. So there is no taking points from him. He doesn't belong on this list because he hits fives across the board. Ryan Garcia is trying to get to where Canelo is. And if Ryan Garcia, and by the way, if we were talking about Canelo back in 2010, 2009, I would have said that he needed to learn English if he wanted to be a worldwide star, and I would have deducted a point from him. So I think that I'm well within the right mind frame to see that Ryan needs to just, make his Spanish a little bit more in depth. And I'm not trying to be overcritical at all. It's hard to find something to really point at and say this kid's not going to be a star, other than the fact that, I think he could be beat by one of those guys that you mentioned. I don't know if he beats a Devin Haney. So that's the only other thing. But as far as everything else, he passes the eye test. So let's move on.
Hold on really quick. Since we're talking about Ryan and you said, he understands trolling. Here's a perfect example. 7 hours ago. See, so look how good he's at it, right? Just so happens we're doing this show. Just so happens we're talking about him. Just so happens that 7 hours ago, he comes out and says, Gervonta Davis, I want to fight now. Let's not wait. 2 crown emojis. 7 hours ago. You know what I mean? I couldn't ask the boxing guys for a better tweet. 7 hours ago, he's trolling Gervonta, because I call it trolling because we all know he's fighting Linares. We all know there's a plan to build him. Linares is known. It'll give him cachet. They're not going that way, but he already understands. I got to fight. I got to build buzz and interest. This is who they want me to fight, or one of the guys. Let's draw some interest. Look at him. I want to fight you. Gervonta also got a plan. He trying to fight Leo on pay-per-view. So what could he do? He can't do nothing but say, laugh out loud, relax, little man. It's going to come, and you know it like I know it. But let's make it now. The pressure looks like it's on you. You want to wait. You want to relax. He's saying let's do it now. But again, hardcores know he fighting Linares. They ain't there. He's fighting Linares.
Listen, I think that was a great way to transition to the next fighter, who I was going to make Teofimo Lopez, but we'll put him on the back burner and talk about Gervonta Davis, because I have a lot to say about Gervonta Davis. Listen, I'm going to start at his ability to draw ratings and possible pay-per-view buys. And right now, I'm going to give him a 1. I'm going to give him a dead last 1. Because he hasn't fought shit, and he's had the opportunities. And look, the Abnormatis thing wasn't his fault.
Whoa.
He's not even.
Hold on, champ. I know you're upset. I know you're upset, and that's always cuts you off. But you're talking blasphemy here. How could you give a guy a 1 on ability to draw based off who he's fought, when that's the whole point of drawing? It don't matter who he fought, and he draws.
No, listen. What steam he's had. It's just blown away.
How? He just sold out a new market. You're lying. He sold out a new market. He sold out a new market with a faded fighter. With a fighter everybody thought he was going to beat. Everybody knew he was going to beat. And he still sold out a new market. You can't take that from him.
When he fights somebody.
Well, they see your bias. They see your bias. We see your bias.
Listen,
women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. His numbers don't lie.
He's been around so long, HBO negotiated to try to get a fight from him, okay? This guy has been missing out on the big fight. So until he does fight somebody that I actually care about, I don't care about his groupies. I don't care about his the nut huggers. I don't care about those people that are trying to get 10% off the top. I don't give a shit about them people that fill up the audience. I'm talking about his ability to draw, to make people interested in his fights. And right now, it's at a fucking 1 to me. Now, I'm not saying that that's based on.
You're not saying that's fact.
With him. Exactly. No. Yes. No, I that's exactly my point. It's not, this isn't what I'm looking at him and saying he's a 1. Obviously, he's charismatic. I mean, he's got so much going for him. And I really, really like Gervonta. That's the whole point to this, is that I'm fed up. I'm ready for him to make a huge step up, and maybe he's not. Maybe that's the issue. And but Leo is.
His step up is a 4-time champion.
Sure.
He's stepping up to Leo Santa Cruz, who Leo proved his medal when he beat Carl Frampton years ago.
And after they fight,
beat Abnormaris twice.
And
he beat Abnormaris twice.
his ability to draw. I will reassess it.
Brother, that
I'm
fight's
give
gonna
him a
do
1 for
numbers,
now.
man. That fight's gonna do numbers. We're talking about a 4-time Mexican champion, a dude that easily draws 7,000 to 8,000 in LA, then a dude that draws in 4 markets. Because you're trying to take his draw power. He drew in 4 markets: LA, New York, UK, and Atlanta. Stop hating, man. Get your shit together.
Listen, you want to call in, you want to super chat, you want to whatever, call in and convince me, because Ness hasn't convinced me. I'm gonna give him a 1 based on everything I just said. Is that I am upset that he is yet to fight somebody, he is yet to put himself in these positions, and it's just like there's like real no urgency with him. I feel urgency with Garcia. I feel urgency with Devin Haney. I feel urgency.
His urgency's in the ring when he's doing.
Ortiz. I don't feel urgency with Tank.
His urgency's in the ring, brother. His urgency's in the ring when he's doing, anywhere from 400 to 700,000 for first and second round KOs. That's the ability to draw.
What are you giving him? So then, what's your rating for him, as far as ability to draw ratings?
Shit, I'm giving him a 5. I'm giving him a 5 based off. Listen, is that you're looking at this all wrong. You got a little bit of disdain for him, and that's okay. But Gervonta hangs and knows Drake. His gear is sponsored by OVO Drake. He has huge walkouts for his fights. If it's not a rapper, he's doing an entire production with Thriller. He's associated to Floyd. He's the only fighter, maybe Deontay just hit the Shade Room in all the urban websites. But Gervonta been on them because he's his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend is some rapper's girlfriend, so he stays on World Star Hip Hop. He stays on the Shade Room. My man got his teeth fixed. Shade Room picked it up. See, I do research. Shade Room picked it up because he got his teeth fixed. Clarissa got her Invisalign. Every other fighter got Invisalign. They not on the Shade Room. And they not on the Shade Room for their fucking teeth. And it sounds stupid, but that's why I'm telling you. Because that's how big of a star he is to regular people outside of boxing. Outside of boxing. Let's not forget, he just got caught up in some legal battles. And he's had a few. But that spreads. All news is good news. But bad publicity will get across the world faster than a wildfire. Okay? So everyone knows him. He was on every Instagram, every fucking website when he grabbed that girl up for basketball all-star weekend. Okay? It wasn't just some rinky-dink game, some regular place. No, he was in Miami at the new fucking stadium. Okay? So let's stop with the bullshit. Ain't nobody drawing like him. He do 4 markets: UK, Atlanta, BK, LA. And I'm going to end it with this. For anybody that wants to call in and start hating or lying, when Gennady sold out the Forum in Madison Square Garden, y'all literally start blowing him off, saying how he was a star because he sold in both coasts. So Gervonta's not only doing both coasts, but he taking it across the pond, and then he opened up a new market so more people can have another place to put their boxing at because he opened up Atlanta.
Listen. I'm going to tell you that while your points are well received, and while I think that you're not wrong, again, my point has nothing to do with me looking at him and really truly evaluating him. My point has to do with frustration. I'm frustrated. So out of spite, I'm going to give him a 1 because because human beings can be spiteful, because we're not perfect, because I don't know. I'm tired, man. I'm just tired of I feel like I've been talking about him for so long and we've proved nothing other than he's an incredible athlete. He passes the eye test. Everything you said about him is correct. You're not wrong. At the same time, he gets a 1 because I don't care right now. And I think there's a lot of people that cared that don't care anymore, that are frustrated and waiting for him to do something. And again, the Mares thing wasn't really his fault, but at the same time, Mares wasn't really the fight we were, craving for this guy. So it would have been something, but right now we're left with nothing. So he gets a 1 for me. As far as his, and if you want we could just do these a little quicker. We don't have to, we won't go back and forth. I'll do mine, you do yours, and we'll do it. Social media presence, 5. 5 across the board. He understands what it is in this market to be a social media influencer. His fashion sense, his musical choice, just his overall posting ability is really top notch. He knows what an influencer is supposed to do and how he's supposed to conduct himself. And sometimes it gets him in a little trouble, but listen, if he was a Kardashian, no one would give a shit about some of the things he's done. But because he's a pro boxer, some of those things, some of those things are really, really negative for his brand. And then now we're talking about some of the criminal aspects of, what's been going on. But none of that has to do with social media. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, all press is good press. So I give him a 5 for social media presence.
Yeah, man. Social media, we talking about Gervonta?
Yes.
Man, yeah, like I said, he's above Andy, so he's gets a 5 easy. That's all day. I'm gonna go down this quicker. Interview ability to speak. Now this is where he suffers. He's very shy in person. I've met him. He's soft spoken too. So I'm gonna say 2.5. His ability to speak in his interviews. Look. Face, body, swag, etc. 5, bro. My man got the look. He got the swag. He got the girls. He got the jewelry. He got the cars. He got the Lambo. Like, he doing it all right. The swag is there. Highest ceiling, his ceiling's high. His ceiling's high. Listen, the connection to Floyd, the ability to knock out your opponents, he can definitely... See, people got to understand, no one's saying he's a star now, fellas. This is stars on the rise list. These are the next. Who's going to be the next? And absolutely, he's destined to be one. So highest ceiling, 5. There's no ceiling for him. Listen, right now, if they announce today Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis on pay-per-view, we want it. Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis on pay-per-view, we want it. Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis, pay-per-view, we want it. Teofimo, we want it. Stop lying. You ain't gonna say Teofimo Ryan is pay-per-view. You ain't gonna say Ryan Vasil is pay-per-view. I don't even know people gonna say that motherfucking Teofimo and Vasil is pay-per-view. Are they gonna put it on pay-per-view? Did we interview him? He said that's why the hold up, they want to put it on pay-per-view. Not even he thinks it's pay-per-view. But we ain't gonna say it's pay-per-view. I bet you we'll pay without a motherfucking problem for Gervonta and Vasil to fight. So let's stop.
I'll pay for Lomachenko, Teofimo. But listen, okay, I'll run through them real quick too. Look, interview ability to speak. I'm gonna give him a 3.5. I hear you. He is reserved, but he's just got this swag about him that's really good. And if he hones it in live interviews, he's gonna be really good. Look. It's incredible. His look is incredible. I already talked about his fashion sense, his swag. He's doing things at a higher level. He understands his game better than most people do. When they go and they see an Instagram post, they don't understand how calculated it is. How long it took him to decide, what shoes, or how long it took a publicist or whoever to, put that post together. So as far as the ceiling is the only place I'm going to disagree with you. Yes, I do think that a 5 is reasonable, but I'm going to give him a 4 based on the fact that I think he is beatable by one of these top guys. And to me, that drops the ceiling just a bit. I think he could be a star. I don't know if he'll ever be that A side that we feel is going to run through a specific division or a specific opponent at the top. KO ability, definitely he's got power in both hands. It's not even distributed power, but it is power in both hands. So I give him like a 4.5 right there. For biggest market, I'm going to give him a 4.5 right here too. I normally wouldn't, but I think he's really transitioned into pop culture. So the difference in markets is like you have the Mexican market, you have the California market, you have the New York market, the Puerto Rican market, American market, UK market. You have all these different types of markets. When you tap into that pop culture market, that is when you transition from being a WWF wrestler, asking if you smell what's cooking, to being a star in the Fast and Furious movies. You know what I'm saying? When you transition into that. And that's what De La Hoya did. He transitioned. Floyd Mayweather, he transitioned. So, guys like Pacquiao and Canelo, while they're huge stars, they've never really transitioned to that mainstream, not fully. Everybody knows Pacquiao, everybody knows Canelo, but they're not, in that culture. And then as far as worldwide interest, I'm going to give him like a 2.5. And that's going to be based off, again, the ability to draw. I think people are just tired. So do you want to take some calls and we'll get back to this list, give people a chance, or do you want to run through one more?
Yeah, run through one more. I'm going to try and connect with our 9:30 guest. He woke up late.
Okay. Then let's do that. And I am going to go with, let's see. I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick Michael Conlon. I'm going to go with
that
Michael
dude.
Conlon.
And this is what I'm saying. ESPN is biased, bro. That dude does not belong on the list. He doesn't have no market to speak of. They've done fights for him in Madison Square. They've took him to Ireland. There's no buzz on him, bro. This is just the BS that we're talking about right here. He's got no skill. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the list real quick. Fuck this call, bro. Ability to draw. I'm gonna give him a 3 because there are some people coming out when he goes to Madison Square Garden, and he did do a main event like in Ireland, but it wasn't a main event that I don't even think it got TV, bro. But whatever. Social media presence. I don't even see this dude on social media. Like, does he have one? Does he have numbers? You know what I mean? Like, is there numbers for Michael Conlon? I don't even know. I doubt it. He's an Olympian, so let's see, but I doubt it. They're telling me Conlon's a draw. Yeah, a draw because he wears underwear. We all wear underwear. That don't mean shit. A draw with 200,000 followers, man. Kick rocks, man. Everybody know this dude cannot fight, and Top Rank knows that. That's why they ain't put him in with nobody.
What about look?
But let me go down the line. Let me go down the line.
Sorry, go ahead.
Social media presence, whatever I gave Jacobs, because that's what he got, 200. Boom. Interview ability. I mean, everybody likes an accent, to be honest with you, so I'll give him a 3. Look, face, body, swag, 3. Highest ceiling, 1. He can't even beat fucking the up-and-comers that he's supposed to beat. KO ability, zippity doodah. Does he got the biggest market? Hell no. If his name was McGregor, maybe. Worldwide interest, I guess, because he happens to be from Ireland and he went to the Olympics and he's fighting in the U.S., so he's going to have some international whatever, but nothing serious.
Who was that fighter, Ness? I think he was a junior welterweight. No, he was way lighter than that. He was from like Polynesia or Philippines. I don't even remember, but his last name was John, and he was a guy in the division.
Chris John, that's who I was thinking of. Chris John. He beat Marquez, didn't he?
Yes.
So a long time ago, before Pacquiao.
Sure, but this is where I think that you are a little hard on Conlon. Conlon is not the draw that some of the other guys we mentioned are, but he is a draw. He's drawing names like Conor McGregor to talk about him and watch his fights and be there with him live and at weigh-ins and stuff like that. He's drawing interest from a lot of people, and you got to understand, we're all hardcores, right? So we've heard of Michael Conlon. He was highly touted coming out of the amateurs. His first fight was accessible through Top Rank streaming. So he's gotten a lot more buzz. So he's been around a lot longer, but he's still really young and he's still really new to the professional fight game. From the aspects that make you a star. So ability to draw. I think if we're looking to the future, right now I'd have him at like a 3.5. I think it could grow too. Social media presence. I really am not familiar with his social media presence. I'm going to skip it completely because I really don't know. I know he has a Twitter because I follow him, but I literally have never seen him tweet. And I'm not saying he doesn't. I've just never seen it. Interview and ability to speak. I think he's really charismatic. I think that he speaks well, and not only does he speak well, he articulates the fight game very well. He's gonna have a career as a color commentator. He's gonna have a career as a color commentator down the road once his career is over. because he articulates the fight game very well. He explains it very well. As far as look, I think he's got a great look to him. You know, he's relatable. It's clean cut, and yet there's something rugged about him. It's definitely sellable. Ceiling.
I think that ship has sailed, man. He was sellable when he was flipping people off. You know, he had a good run, but then he had to fight, and he just proved that he can't fight.
Yeah, the ceiling is where it kind of gets stuck for me, because I think, like, where could he be likely, and yet where could he be if something were to snap in his career? But I can't look at it that way. So right now I'm going to give him, I think, what did you give him, a 3? I'm going to give him a 4. I'm going to give him a 4. And then as far as market, look, you know, Ireland, I'm not really familiar with that market in Ireland. You know what I mean? But I know that Irish fans in America are huge fight fans. They're tremendous fight fans, and they show up, you know, when they have to, or not when they have to, but, you know, they'll show up for their fighters. You know, the problem is they don't really have anybody right now that, you know, they can really it's like this younger generation that's coming up, and that you could kind of all put them in a bubble. But with Conlon, I don't know. I just, he seems to be well received over there. So it has to translate to American Irish, which there's a market for, obviously. But yeah, man, look, boxing, and it would be nothing without fighters from Ireland and Irish. They are some of the toughest and grittiest. So
let me get to our guest here. Yes, James Wilkins, a.k.a. Crunch Time. What's going on, champ? Good morning. How are you? How you feeling?
Good morning. I'm feeling great, man. Been working hard, but, you know, with everything going on, all the gyms are getting shut down, so it's a little hard to get the work in right now.
Road work, huh?
Yeah, just got to get the road work. That's it.
So I'm glad that we got you on, man, because we're actually talking someone that you have plenty of words for, and me and my co-host were debating on whether or not Gervonta Davis is a star or has that star-making ability. I believe he is. I believe he's a star right now. I believe he can do several pay-per-views right now that we as boxing fans would purchase. Him versus Vasil, I see us paying for it. Him versus Teofimo, we would pay for it. Versus Haney, Ryan Garcia, we would pay for it. I believe he's a star. My co-host doesn't think he's there yet. I want to ask, what do you think? Because you've done numerous interviews calling him out, saying all types of crazy stuff too. So, I mean, he's got to be a star in your eyes, because why, I guess, put all the effort if there isn't going to be any reward if you get the fight?
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I get, you know, you always give credit where it's due. Gervonta is a good fighter. I always give credit where it's due, but this is just how I am. It ain't nothing to do with just Gervonta. I don't got no respect for nobody in my weight. If you're in my weight and you're a big name, or if you got a title, that's just how I am. Like, get in the way of what I want. That's how I feel. So with all these boxers, everybody wants to be friends. Everybody wants to laugh around. I don't want to laugh. I don't want to joke. I don't want to be nobody's friend if you're in my weight. I don't want to be nobody's friend. I want to make the big fights, and I want to show everybody that I'm not here to protect my career. No, I'm here to take risks. That's what we are as fighters. As a fighter, you're supposed to take risks. You're supposed to take chances, and you want all the big fights to happen. So that's what I want in my future. Right now, having 10 fights, as I keep growing, that's what I want. I want the fights that's going to get me into the top 10 to be a contender to one day be world champion. And I know I could be world champion late 2020, early 2021.
Hey, James, this is Mario Mugia. Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I said at 130.
Yeah, absolutely. 130, which is a big division with a lot of names. So plenty of opportunity there. But thank you for joining us this morning. I wanted to talk to you real quick about the virus and everything. You're fortunate enough that you got to get one off before 2020. I mean, in 2020, you fought, I believe it was the 11th of January against James Early. unanimous decision win by 6 rounds. So what's training right now like? Are you in the gym heavy? Are you trying to stay away from it for a little bit? Are you plan on ramping it up at some time? What precautions are you taking?
Well, I'm taking serious precautions. That's why I came back from Dallas to New York to be with my family. I'm over here at my brother's house right now in New York because I wanted to be with family with everything going on because all the gyms got shut down in Texas. Like where I train at, the Urban PAL gym got shut down. They shut down everything out there. So it's like if I can't be in the gym and I just got to get my road work and just do my own thing, I'd rather do it home with my family. At least I'm with my loved ones.
So, James, man, I just want to ask, why are you calling out the top of your division if you've only got about 11 fights and you're really not ranked there yet?
Well, the reason I do it now is because you gotta marinate everything. You gotta let everything sit, and you gotta let them know I'm not here to play games. Like I'm not here to play games. See, everybody thinks, oh, you don't got the rank, you don't got enough fights yet. But see, when you bend in the ring with these people that everyone think is the boogeyman or they think is whoever they think, and you been in there with them before and you know what you're capable of, you're gonna talk your shit now. Why wait? Why would I wait to let the world know what I'm capable of? I know I am. I believe in my craft. I train 3 to 2 times a day. I know what I'm capable of. I work my ass off. So I'm not scared to say what's on my mind and let the world know what's on my mind. Because I know once I get the chance, I will execute and I will do what I have to do to be victorious.
James, you weren't planning any fights, right? Like, I mean, the coronavirus they didn't cancel anything for you, correct? Or were you in the middle of negotiating something?
Well, Golden Boy was just in the middle of finding me a new date. I didn't have a set date, but they were aiming for late April, early May. So I still didn't have a date, but hopefully it won't get canceled. Hopefully everything in early May will still be available.
So, James, man, I don't know if you remember, but I watched you get some of that elite level work that you say you want in New York. Versus Chris Colbert,
my boy Christopher.
Exactly. And he's at the top of the I mean, he's not necessarily at the top of the division just yet. He just captured an interim title and he's ranked about 37 in the world. Yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on Chris Colbert?
Chris Colbert, me and Christopher, we grew up since kids, like talking about live together, like in the streets together, like we did it all together. So me and Chris, like we already spoke and we told each other off the jump. Like the only time me and Chris are gonna fight is if it comes to a point to where we gotta unify. If we gotta unify, that is a fight that should be built, like, because where we come from together, like we literally grew up as kids together. So if we had to fight for a number 1 spot or a unification title, then we're gonna fight because we got to give the fans what they want. And at the end of the day, this is boxing; it's a business.
Now, James, real quick, I want to ask you. This is just kind of like a general question, I guess. We don't know what's going to happen with the future of boxing right now, and really sports in general. What are the things that you plan on doing with gyms being closed, with all that? I mean, obviously you can run, but that's not going to keep you in the type of readiness for a fight, like sparring would and mitt training and stuff like that. What are the things that you plan on doing while you're at home with your family to kind of keep yourself ready to go so that you can be ready once you get that call and you're instantly ready to go?
Right now, I feel like the only thing anybody could do is do what you have. Like, you got to stay home, shadow box, go for your little runs, do your push-ups, do your sit-ups, do your little calisthenics. Because there's really nothing else you can do in this position when everything is shut down, you know? And you can't go sparring nobody because everybody thinks everybody's sick. So you got to just be smart and keep the faith in God. That's really, when it all said and done, that's what it really comes down to, keeping your faith in God and just believing that He'll give you the right steps to take. Because I lead by whatever I got to do, I do.
So, James, man.
The health definitely comes first.
Absolutely, brother. Got to stay healthy, man. But listen, I want you to walk me through this Golden Boy signing, because you just signed a Golden Boy. So first and foremost, congratulations on that. And yeah, just tell us how
Thank you so much.
How that came about, because you know it's got to be a wonderful feeling, you know, to sign to one of the biggest promoters in boxing.
Yeah, it's definitely a great feeling signing with Golden Boy. It came about because I've been reaching out to them since like 2016, and Robert, he would always tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit you up if we got a date, all this stuff." So basically, I started off. I was just going to Mexico. You know, everybody knows my story, homeless, and I was just paying for my ways to fight. Like I would
wait.
money however I was.
Don't assume everyone knows your story. You went to Mexico. What do you mean you paid your way to fight? You got to assume boxing fans don't know anything that you're talking about. They don't know about paying for fights. These dudes are going to work, and that's that. They don't know what a fighter goes through. So tell us your Mexico story.
So basically, what I would do is I would have my camps wherever, with like either before I met Roy Jones, I was having my camps in Vegas. So I would come home after a fight, or after a few months of not fighting, I would just come home and I would do a little side job with like my uncle or something. He owns a bread route business. I would drive the truck, whatever, make as much money as I can, and I would see how much I had. If I had $1,500, $1,200, I would go to Mexico in Tijuana, and I would pay for a 6-rounder or a 4-rounder, whatever I can afford. And so if you fight a 6-rounder out there, you got to pay like $1,300, sometimes $1,400. So I would pay $1,400. I would get a fight, come back, do the same thing, and just keep. And that's how I was getting my fights, to where at least people could see me trying to be active, you know, because if you look at the beginning of my box record, it looks like, damn, this kid's inconsistent, he don't fight. But that wasn't the case. I wasn't signed, so it was hard to get fights. Only way I could get a fight is if I came out of pocket and I paid my own way.
So you did that twice. I mean, first of all, you had a debut kind of in your area, because the Resorts Casino is in Queens. You know, you from Brooklyn. You debuted there at 140, and then you did 2 Mexico fights out of your own pocket. How did you end up in Atlantic City next? Because that's, I mean, obviously it sounds like a better situation than having to go all the way out to Mexico.
So we'll start back from the beginning of my career, my pro debut. I was signed. I wasn't signed with Lou DiBella, but it was on the Lou DiBella card. And freaking, I'm not gonna drop no names, but the people that I was signed with at that time, you know, after every fight, you walk to the back, you get your check. Everybody knows this is boxing. That's how it is. You walk to the back after your fight, you get your check. After my fight, I walk out the ring, my pro debut. Go to the back, and I'm waiting for my check, and they come back like, "Oh, well, we forgot our checkbook, so we'll just write you a check next week or something." Like, what? He's got me fucked up. So after that, when I finally did get my money 2 weeks later after my fight, I wound up getting out of my contract. And that's when it got a little bit hectic, and I started doing the Mexico fight. And then the way I met Roy Jones and the way I got that fight in Atlantic City is I just went to Madison Square Garden. I sat in the wrong seat. Good place to be at the time. I sat in one of Roy's workers' seats. And we started talking about boxing. They asked me if I was signed at the time. I said no. They introduced me to Roy. And Roy told me, he's like, look, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna guide you through your career. Not, he's like, I want you to be signed with who you want to be signed with. So me and Roy, like, we always had an understanding of I wanted to be signed with either Al or Oscar. Like, that's the biggest people to be with in boxing right now. So when everything was going on with that, Roy just held me down, gave me a room in his crib. I still got my little room in Roy's house. I was doing my training camps, and whatever came up, Roy took me to Atlantic City. I got a fight out there. Then he had another appearance at Mississippi. So basically the way I was getting these fights is people wanted Roy to come to his events and come to his shows, and Roy would be like, all right, I got this fight. I'll come to your event. You got to put my fight on. And that's how he was getting me on these fights. Just because they wanted him to appear and be there, they would pay for me to fight.
That's a blessing.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Talk to me about the Masail Lopez, your first loss, and it was a fight in America, it looks like.
Yeah, that was out here in Oklahoma. That fight right here, if you look through the build-up of the fight, there's no excuses in boxing. But at the end of the day, if you look at the facts, literally the facts, I was sleeping in gyms. I was sleeping wherever I could rest my head. So that fight, there was no nutrition. There was no nothing. And I still went in there, dropped him in the 7th round. They didn't count my knockdown. They said he slipped. And they gave him the fight on points. The only thing I learned with that fight is to make sure that I'm always prepared the right way. Because if not, anything can happen in boxing. Obviously, you don't have enough energy to finish the job after you drop somebody. It could cost you the fight. And that's what it did. It cost me the fight.
Now, let me ask you, when you go out to Mexico and you get these fights, how do you know that they're going to be actually put on BoxRec? Because that's the most important thing. I wouldn't want to be a fighter, pay $1,500 to get a fight, and then my shit not on BoxRec.
Yeah, I know a few fighters that happens to where their fights aren't even on BoxRec. Like, they're like probably like 15-0. It says 13-0 or some shit. So, I mean, you don't know. You really don't. You got to just, like I said, take a chance with God, put your faith in God, and just understand that you're chasing your dreams, and there's ups and there's downs in this. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So I don't think I ever thought about it, to be honest. I really didn't. Me being young and trying to chase my dreams, I kind of just got the money, and I was like, all right, they said I could fight. I'm just going to go pay the fight. That's what I did. I didn't really think too much into it. I just did it.
Let me ask you though, man. How does a dude? Let me look at this. You're 24. You started your career in 16, so you was 20 years old. How does a 20-year-old guy? Because I'm not gonna call you a kid. How does a 20-year-old guy know where to go to get a fight in Mexico? What are you, Puerto Rican?
Puerto Rican and Italian. My family's from Sicily, Italy.
So how did you know who to call? How did you know where to go?
When I was in Vegas in Floyd's gym, I had met this guy. His name is Repo.
Good old Repo Rick, huh? Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Repo Rick. Yo, Repo Rick get everybody Mexico fights. That's why I love talking these stories, man, because my man's he's in everything, bruh. He got his own logo and everything. It's hilarious.
Everything. And let me tell you that, Rico, with me, I don't know with anybody else, but with me, cool people. I don't got nothing bad to say about them. It gave me an opportunity to fight, even though I had to pay. Shit, I wish I didn't have to pay, but opportunity is opportunity. You take what you can get. So with me, I don't got no beef with him, but man, Rico funny as shit, man. When we used to drive over the border, he'd be like, yeah, you don't even got to pay for a hotel if you don't want. We got my crib out here. But eventually we started getting hotels and stuff.
Cause you ain't like his crib.
But yeah, I met Rico and Repo. I met him in Floyd's gym. I was just sparring, and he seen me spar, and he asked me like, "Hey, you got a fight day? You got a manager or anything?" And at that time, I didn't have no manager, no nothing, but I didn't want to do paperwork with just anybody because I understood my plan, and I understood it took a process, and I had to wait. I knew I was building myself up. So when he asked me if I wanted to sign any deals or anything, I said no because I was in the process of chasing a dream. I knew that took time. So I didn't sign no paperwork, but I told him, I said, listen, I'll pay the fight. I don't give a damn about that. I'll go to New York, scrape up some money, and come back with money so I can fight.
Man, that's dope, man. Listen, I'm going through your Instagram, and I see you took a picture with Virgil, man. I gotta ask, did you get work with him? Virgil Ortiz?
No, we didn't get no sparring. Yeah, no, I didn't get no sparring in with him. We just are under, like, I went to, when I was in Dallas, I was, like, going through gyms because, you know, you gotta find the right trainer. So basically it's like I started off at Maple Gym. I was getting sparring over there. Then I was at R&R. I was getting some work over there. But you know how it is with boxing. You have to match with a trainer. Like, you guys got to understand each other. I like to work hard. And Virgil's father actually introduced me to Coach Hector that trains with Virgil. And I just been training with them. I was going to actually go to Virgil's fight and go support and watch the fight, but that had got canceled. I still got my plane ticket. I was thinking about going to Cali, but with all this shit going on, I don't think I'm going.
So, hey, James, real quick.
But me and Virgil, no,
go ahead.
We didn't get no working done. We just work out together, train together, and motivate each other, push each other. He's a real good kid. I like Virgil as a person. He's a great kid.
So just to be clear, Hector is your trainer?
Yeah.
And what's his last name?
And Roy Jones. I don't even know Coach Hector's last name, to be honest. I just call him Coach Hector. I just met him probably like about 2 months ago. I started training with him.
Hey, James, real quick, I did want to ask you what that experience was like with the Cradle of Champions movie and whether you enjoyed the process or not, whether you felt they got the story right, and just everything surrounding that.
Yeah, no, they got this story right because they got what I gave them, but I didn't tell my whole story. Like, I didn't tell all my struggles because, like I said, my whole life has a plan, and I'm not just going to throw all my eggs in one basket. So I gave them enough to where it could still be good. But I actually did enjoy the process. It was a nice process. They came to Big Bear with us when we went out to Big Bear for training camp. For that Golden Gloves, I went out there to Big Bear, and we finished training out there. I got some sparring with Oscar Valdez for that when I was out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it was. I love that the documentary. For our listeners that don't know, James was on Cradle of Champions, which is a documentary on Showtime with a few other fighters too. It's really, really extremely well done. I really liked it, and to be honest with you, I love the way that they portrayed your story. I was gonna wait to make sure that you liked it before I said that, but I really did. I felt like they painted you in a really good picture.
Yeah, they painted me a great picture, but at the same time, for the people that don't know me, I'm not a demon. I'm a people person. I love people. They made me to be like a little bad guy because I was growing up. It's not that I was a bad kid. It's just that growing up in poverty, you know, my brother got shot twice, and once in his stomach, once in his head. So God rest his soul, I come from where you got to protect yourself at all times. So it might look like sometimes I walk around and I look angry or something. I just walk around and I'm always on point. I'm always on point. You got to be smart. So they made me to be like, oh, if he's not in the gym, he's like a Mike Tyson. He's in charge. Oh, nah, I'm not a demon.
So James, again, going through your Instagram, and I see that for your January fight, or at least you posted the picture in January, you was with the trainer from Round by Round in Texas, R&R.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my man.
That's
where Earl started at in that gym.
Yeah, Coach Roger. Yeah, me and Coach Roger, we're still cool. Like, we don't got no beef or nothing. He understands that he trains clients, like lawyers and all these people that pay him good money. So he can't really give the fighters too much time that we need to get what we got to get. So Coach Roger understood, like, I wasn't staying at R&R forever. He understood, like, he was helping me for as long as he could until I could find a steady place to where I could call, like, home. Like, all right, this is where I'm going to train for good now. You feel me?
Definitely. So I kind of want to ask the same thing. What happened? Like, why wouldn't you just stay in Brooklyn and train with Sosa? It seems like when I was there, you had a good rapport with those people and you knew everyone there.
Yeah. Because I still do. I got nothing but love for all them guys. But at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like my story isn't done being told. And like I said, I'm different from a lot of fighters. I don't take handouts. I'm real hard on myself. I feel like everything I get, I want to earn it. So down to just even a little fight, like whatever it is, I want to say that I did that for myself. Like, I did this. I don't want no handouts. I don't want none of that. Just because I came up with people, I don't want none of that. I want to work for everything I got. And that's what I've been doing. And it took time, but look, it's working. I signed with Golden Boys. I'm making ways for myself. I live in Dallas now. Like, everything. It took time. Everything took time. I was homeless for 4 years. Since 2016. It took time, but look, it's getting there.
Now, when you say homeless, what do you mean exactly?
I'm talking about when I was in Floyd's gym. When I first went to Floyd's gym, one day I let you guys ask my mother. My mom had went to the shelter. Me as a man, I told my mom, like, I'm not going to the shelter. Like, it's not happening. I won't live off the system. I won't. As a man, I won't do it. So she was like, where are you going to go? And I said, shit, it's getting cold out here. I ain't going to keep sleeping on these streets. So I was like, I'm going to book a ticket somewhere warm. And that night I was just watching boxing on YouTube, and I came across a video at Floyd, and I seen the doghouse and all that. And I was like, I need that environment right there. I said, I'm going to Vegas. I booked a one-way ticket to Vegas, and I promised myself, I said, I'm not coming back home to New York until I could tell my family, all right, I got signed. And now I could say, like, I'm not good, but I'm in a better position. So when I was in Vegas with Floyd and them, nobody knew I was homeless. I used to keep my gym bag under the ring. I used to leave my gym bag under the ring. Floyd had showers there. I would take showers in the gym. When we leave the gym, I would just walk up and down the strip. And my first few days there, I was like just sleeping at bus stops. I was sleeping in the cut in the alley somewhere. But then I'm like, damn, like, none in Vegas closes. Why would I do that? And I started going to the casinos and scoping it out, checking it out. And I was in the bathroom one day, and I looked. They had the little handicap stool. So I took all the tissue out from the thing, and I put all the tissue on the floor because the floor was cold because it's a marble floor. So I put all the tissue down, and I used my gym bag as a pillow, and I would just face the wall so nobody could see me. And I would lock the door in case anybody tried to come in. And that's how I was getting it. I would wake up, take a little bird bath, wash my face, brush my teeth in the bathroom sink, whatever, dry myself, go train. And I was doing that sparring all these guys.
And when you say sparring all these guys, who were some of these names you were getting in while living under these conditions?
I don't really know. I know one of them was a fighter from the UK. I forgot his name. I got
Ashley Theophane?
With who?
Ashley Theophane?
No, I didn't get no work with him. He wasn't even in the gym at that time. I think he was probably home or something. I was getting work with I got work with some kid Marcos. I'm not sure if you guys know him. I got some work with him. He's real cool people with Floyd. He ain't signed with Floyd, but he's cool with Floyd. I got some work with him. I had knocked him out, and that's when they were hyping up the Gervonta spawn after I knocked him out. Then I was getting some work with Ladarius Miller.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I got work with Ladarius. Me and Ladarius were helping each other. Like when I had fights in Mexico, he would help me out. When he had fights, I was helping him out. I was getting fights with all them guys. Then I was getting some work with Devin Haney's boy. What's his name? My boy, fucking Darren Cunningham.
Yeah.
We were helping each other. Yeah.
That's the nephew of Kevin Cunningham.
Yeah, we were helping each other out. Real cool kid. He definitely showed love too. They showed me love out there when I was out there. We used to go for out mountain runs and all that together, all of us.
So let me ask you.
Me, Devin, my boy, Rocky, all of us.
How long, if you can remember, were you living on the street and training in Vegas at the same time? Like, for how many days or weeks did you do that before you found the spot?
Probably, I was at the first time I was in Vegas. The first time I was in Vegas, I was out there for like a week and a half with my boy Josue Vargas, and my appendix had popped. So when my appendix popped, I had to go home and rest for like 6 to 8 weeks. Then that's when Josue left Vegas. He left Floyd and all them, so I couldn't go back there with him. He wasn't in Vegas. So when I went back there, I did that probably for about 6 months. And then that's when I met Coach Dewey Cooper. And Coach Dewey and me were still real cool. That's my boy.
Hold up, crunch time. Hold up. You telling me you slept in hotel handicap restroom stalls for 6 months? That's 100 and that's 210 days, brother. Right? Am I right on that math?
It was
120.
Like 180.
120 is 4 months. 2 more
It's
months.
like 180.
Yeah, 180. Nah, 160, right? No, yeah, 30, 180. He's right. 180 days you slept in the stall, bro? I just want to make sure this story's right.
This story's right.
No. I don't mean that you're telling a lie. I mean that I want to make sure I'm listening correctly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then the days where, like, one day I was on FaceTime with my mom, because my mom, she used to, like, when I would sleep, my mom would literally stay on the phone with me all night and watch me. Like, I would sit the phone somewhere to where she could see me and make sure nobody's coming to bother or something. So one day I fell asleep, like, standing up against the wall in the bathroom, and I was on FaceTime with my mom, and the sheriff had came in the bathroom, so I don't know who he was, but he had came in the bathroom, and he was, like, trying to wake me up, but I was so tired, I was chilling on the wall, I was slumped. So he had grabbed me, and I heard my mom's voice. She was like, "Oh, that's my son." My mom had lied. She was like, "I'm waiting for his hotel to clear." So when I heard my mom, I woke up when I heard her voice, and the guy just grabbed me by my ankle and just pulled my feet out from under me, and I bust my ass. So after that, he picked me up by my neck, and I was like, "Man, I ain't no fiend. Like, I'm training. Like, I'm tired." He wasn't even trying to hear it. He done dragged me out the casino. So, and that was at the Palms Casino. So once he kicked me out the Palms Casino, I walked right down the street to Rio. And I did the same thing at Rio. I just went, put more napkins on the floor, and just slept right there. And I was doing it every casino. I did it
for 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, bro.
Bro, you got it. You got to make it, yo. You got to make it for going through hell, Jesus. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, why wouldn't you just ask, like, one of the trainers, like, yo, tell them the situation. See, like, it's fighters that too. Like, why wouldn't you just be like, yo, Devin, I can't stay at your house for tonight. Like, this is what's going. I would have asked somebody. I would have slept on somebody's couch or something.
I got too much pride as a man. That's my problem. I got too much pride. I got way too much pride. Because, like, nowadays, nobody does nothing out of love. This ain't like the 90s where people did things for you and it was love. Nah, nowadays, it's like, everything's for social media. Just look how these people that got so much, right? Look how they just go up to the homeless and feed them. They got to do it with a camera. Like, come on, you're putting a camera in these people's face. You want to impress me? Go up to these people and put them in a hotel for a week. Clean them up. Try to help them for real. Don't go putting, here's McDonald's and record it. Like, come on now. Like, that's why I got way too much pride. I won't let nobody ever say, I did this for that one.
I follow this sport way too thoroughly. Is that an indirect shot at Devin Haney? Because he definitely was giving out McDonald's on his social media, bruh.
Nah, not Devin. That has nothing to do with Devin. I'm talking about in general.
I'm just saying because he was doing that, so I didn't know if that was like an indirect right there.
Nah, it actually has something to do with one of the DJs I know from out here in New York. Because one day we were all out, and when we were out chilling, he was like trying to record him giving something to somebody. Because we were buying mad pizza, and I was like, yo, bro, like, you're going to throw all this shit out. Like, let's just tell them we'll give them something, and we'll just give out the pizza. So we did that, but then we ran out of pizza, so we went to McDonald's, and we grabbed some McDonald's, and my boy was like taking his phone out and trying to record, and I grabbed his phone. I was like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? Like, we're not doing that. He was like, oh, nah, I just want to show people, like, I'm giving back, yada, yada. Listen, God says, you do in silence and you will get abundance. If you do to show people what you're doing, you ain't going to get shit. So what are you recording? These are people. These ain't dogs.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, for real. That's wow. I can't even, like, I'm listening and I'm just like amazed with not just the story, but your take on it. You know what I'm saying? You were super wise beyond your years. Man, I can just say that God, man, I can't wait to see you fight again.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hopefully that's real soon. Hopefully early May, like they said. I'm going to be doing my runs until then, I guess. Everything's shut down. Fuck around, might not be able to run no more. You might have to start doing jumping jacks in the house.
For real.
Yeah, there is fear of quarantine coming soon. But, like, now that you with Golden Boy, I guess, how much have things changed? Because it doesn't mean that you with Golden Boy and all of a sudden you rich, but how has things changed?
It changed by I'm in the process of getting my apartment in Dallas. You know, I'm eating 3 times a day. So it's like, you know, I'm not, like you said, I'm not rich, but I'm not in that struggle position no more, you know? But definitely not rich.
Definitely. No, I mean, listen, 10, 11 fights, no one's expecting you to be rich yet, man. But we definitely want to thank you for your time, man. We're going to continue to get you on more regularly. Man, if you remember me, I'm the tall Dominican. You know I've been interviewing you in person as much as I can see you.
I know exactly who it is, yeah.
Oh, for sure. So, yeah, man, you know I've been on the story from the beginning. I just wanted to share it with our audience here on the show. But we do appreciate you coming on the show. I have been screen sharing your Instagram, but please give it out verbally so anybody who isn't following you can follow you. And just want to shout you
You
out for
can
having
follow me.
your page public so people can see who you are rather than private. Like a lot of these people we interview, you got to tell them like, yo, make your page
Yeah.
public. But shout out to you.
Yeah, now you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Real Crunch Time.
Well, James,
No
man,
underscores, just Real Crunch Time.
just want to say thank you first and foremost for coming on once again. And yeah, man, we'll get you back on soon. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Real Crunch Time, James Wilkins. What a story. What a story. Yo, I'm not going to say any details about the sparring. I'll just say that I was so excited, right? Because Chris is letting me record this sparring and shit. As soon as this shit is over, he's like, you know I ain't going to let you keep that, right? Made me delete it. I'm like, motherfucker, you could have told me that shit before so that I don't waste my battery, you know what I mean? But yeah, I got to see him get some work. He's a very aggressive fighter, very good. You know, he's a worker. I did not know any of those conditions though. So, you know, wow.
They covered some of that. Did you ever get to see Cradle of Champions?
Is that the one with Chris Colbert on it too?
No.
Okay. No, I didn't then.
No, that's the one on Showtime. It has, I'll tell you exactly what it has because I had it pulled it up last night.
Is it on demand?
I'm sorry?
Is it on demand?
Yeah, it's on Showtime on demand. Yes, absolutely. And it covers his story very well, James's story. It has Nisa Rodriguez. We're familiar with her.
But does it talk about the Mexico? Because that was the most interesting.
It doesn't go into that, but it does go into his family. He suffered.
First of all, shout out to James because he's obviously a hustler. All right, because he got the fights from the same man. Remember, we've already interviewed like in this month alone 3 people that used the same man to get fights in Mexico, and we heard like 2 different prices, and his has been the lowest. Yeah. You know what I mean? Chris Lovejoy either was who we got scheduled for tomorrow. Either he was inflating for TV or he was getting charged double. But the fact that my man was doing this on his own, and I didn't want to fish, but I smelt like it was Real Deal Promotions, Evander Holyfield, because he had that one fight in Queens, and they did a lot of shows over there. You know, what's this guy's name? He's a Dominican dude that was like the matchmaker or like the CEO. And, you know, they had Juan Dominguez, who eventually signed with Al Heyman and stuff, with them too. They even got this kid who's pretty good. He's trained by Joel Judah, the father of Zab Judah. His name is Tyrone Biggs. We had scheduled him once, and he didn't. He was a no-show. But yeah, Vanda had a couple of fighters when he was doing Real Deal Promotions. And they always use that Queen circuit. And if it wasn't Evander, could have been One Promotions out of New York. But whatever. Yeah, man, let's round it up. Let's go ahead and get out to these callers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview and you still remember what we were actually talking about here on the show. But yeah, man, let's do these sponsors, get to these callers, and get some boxing talk.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
All right, let's see. We got who's on the line. Looking like Civilian 11. Civilian 11, going once.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to you guys. And I went on Instagram, followed Crunch Time, gave him a couple likes on a lot of his on a lot of his pictures. So, you know, much love to him. I'm gonna definitely follow him. That's all I have.
That's what's up.
Well,
man.
all right, brother.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Thank you for calling in. Thank you for definitely supporting him. Always a good thing. Imagine that, these fighters can see an influx, even if it's 20, 50, 100, new followers right after an interview. That would give us some serious cachet, you know what I mean? And it'll help with other interviews. Now, there's a ton of you on Blog Talk. Remember to press 1. That puts you in the queue. In the meantime, we're going out to alumni.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Yo, good morning. Good morning, my boxing brothers.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey, man. Hey, man, just listening, man, out here in this line, trying to get some supplies, bro.
Yeah,
great
you in the shop,
interview.
brother? You food shopping?
Luck. Yeah, food shopping, man. I'm at this market, man. Line is like damn near around the corner. But great interview this morning, man. Everybody listening, man. Have a blessed, no stress day. And Ness and Mario, let's start coming up with some fights that we can look at on YouTube and rescore or something like that. Can you play YouTube fights or live? I mean, show them on your screen.
Negatory.
When we can link all up and just all watch the same fight together and try to rescore or, something like that, man, just to keep the shit going. But shout out to that young man on the interview. I seen him on that documentary. Good luck to you. God bless you. And I hope you
Now, remember, don't nobody take that cut it personal. We just being real strict with the time as we're trying to force the newest way to call back into the show, which is a counterpunch. It was something invented by the listeners for the listeners. Counterpunch is a $5 super chat right here on youtube.com/The Boxing Voice. And once you do that with the words counterpunch, you could also put a message in there as well that we could read out live on the show. But once you put that with the word counterpunch, we'll bring you back for another 45-second call. So don't take any offense to getting that traditional cut it. So callers on Blog Talk, remember to hit that that one time, and we're gonna go out. Sorry, you had something. What's up, Mario? I cut you off.
I was wondering, because I don't know if how many people might have just caught on. If maybe you want to run through one more person on the list, just so people understand the basis of the topic.
Let's do it. Who else is needs to be ranked? Let's do Haney, right? Haney wasn't even on their list, and that's the top ranked bias. Carl Moretti called him a good little prospect. Like, he's not even there. There.
Yeah, I know. So again, we're talking about fighters that have potential to be future stars of the sport and really control the sport in a way that the top guys do, like a Canelo, like a Mayweather, like a Pacquiao. Where's their ceiling? Where's their ability to draw, social media presence, interviewing ability to speak, looks, all of that. The market they have, worldwide interest, all of that. We compact it. We rank it 1 through 5, 1 being that they have absolutely everything to work on and they're not strong in this particular area. 5, they're doing great. They don't need any help from us. They need no suggestions. They're on their way. So we'll run down Devin Haney real quick. Let's start at ability to draw and ratings. Where do you have them? 1 through 5.
I mean, listen, see, and this is what I'm saying. They trying to play him out because if I remember, Usyk pulled out of his MGM Grand Harbor debut. Who picked up the slack? Devin Haney. Who sold it out? Devin Haney. This kid was being sought after by every top promoter. Top Rank, Golden Boy, Al Heyman. And then Eddie ultimately got him because he gave him the bag. He gets paid and has been getting paid more than Teofimo. Ain't no way nobody gonna tell me Teofimo got $1 million for that Japanese kid. Fuck out of here. He ain't get $1 million for Mark DeLuca. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? They disrespecting Devin Haney big time. And out of all the young stars, he was the first to champion up. Now, yeah. There's an argument to be made that it was a vacant title where he got elevated and Teofimo knocked out the true champ. That's cool. But he was the first. It's just clear disrespect, man. It's clear disrespect. I don't even want to call it bias to Top Rank. It's disrespect. Like, Josh Teller, should we do him and see, are his numbers better? Does he get more fives across the board? Like, they disrespectful. They're disrespectful.
No, you're absolutely right. When it comes to Devin Haney, there's a lot to like, as far as his social media presence, I'm not like super up on it, so I'm not even going to
I'm going to check it. No, let's do it with stats, man, because it's unfair that he's not getting a mention. Like, how do you not give him a mention? And I'm not saying you. I'm saying their list. No, I got it pulled up. 620,000 on Instagram.
Wow.
That's more than your favorite fighter. Your favorite fighter not named Joshua, Canelo, and Wilder. Like, talk to me about any 160-pounder. None of them got those numbers. Yeah. No 75-pounder got that. I don't even know any Al Haymon fighter over 500,000 not named Wilder. Keith ain't got no 500,000. I'm checking Keith right now. Danny ain't got that. I could go down and list the stars that don't got 600,000. Let's see, Danny Garcia, Swift. Look at that, 636. Well, let me go back to Devin. Where the fuck is Devin at? Oh my God, if he got more than Danny. Ooh, what I said Danny was?
636. 636.
Fucking by 16,000. A multiple division champion. Been in a tough fight with Lucas. Been in a tough fight with Thurman and Porter. And he only got 16,000 above the young guy. Huh?
Crazy. There's no way that could be possible.
That's triple Daniel Jacobs. Triple, okay? Man. Let me get the Charlo. I'm going to go to Big Charlo because that's what he likes to call himself.
And it's not like Danny's social media
294,000 for Big Charlo, okay? Little Charlo we know got like 336. Who else you want to go to, man? Devin they disrespecting Devin. Let me go to his Twitter while you talk.
Absolutely, they're disrespecting him. But I'll run down the list real quick. Interview and ability to speak, I give him about a 4. I'm gonna give him a 3.8. I think that he is very well spoken, and he just needs to open up a little bit. I'm gonna give him that 4 because I remember
Twitter
that
shitty. Twitter, he only got 53,000 followers.
Yeah, but the way Twitter is.
I know. Why is Twitter always so fucking notoriously low? The only guy that does big numbers on Twitter is AJ. Let me see what's
Twitter. But you got to remember, you know what? I was standing behind this person in line the other day, and I wasn't even trying to eavesdrop at all. They were right behind me, and she was trying to explain to somebody the difference between Instagram and Twitter, and she was like, "Well, Twitter's more of like for intellectuals," and I was like, "No, it's not. It's for a bunch of morons like myself." And Twitter's just not that like cool thing. It's just it's where people go to voice their frustrations, and that's why it's so popular. But it's not like Instagram, But as far as his skills though, like you got to give him a 4 at this point. And honestly, I think that he'll be a 5. I think he'll be a 5 at some point. I don't think he's topped out. I think he's gonna be better. And so you look at his ceiling. I think he's a 5. I do. I think the kid looks the part. I think he sounds the part. I think he is just every aspect of
Bro, that's another thing, man. He knows how to talk.
He does.
He knows how to talk very well, and he comes for them. He came for Gervonta. He came for Robert Easter. Before he was even known, he was coming for Easter properly.
Yeah.
Properly. He comes for Gervonta. He comes for Ryan live on can't say TV anymore, but you get it. So I don't know, man. They disrespectful with this one, bro. They disrespectful with this one.
No, they.
Where'd you stop at? Where'd you stop? Social media. You went to interview.
I went to through highest.
Let's go to the next. Look, face, body, swag, etc. My man coming into the ring with Dapper Dan Gucci outfits, bruh.
No, bro.
Swag is on 100,000, man.
Swag.
Matter of fact. How old is he? How old is Devin? Let me double check this because you want to talk about swag. You want to talk about what's the category? Swag, look, body, etc. Well, I mean, I don't know any other boxer. Let me see, because I know he's younger.
He's 21. He's 21.
So that means he's younger than Gervonta. So I don't know no boxer this young who had a girl of the celebrity status of Black China. Black China to me is nothing but like a hood booger, but she's popular and she's rich.
She's very popular.
And her child, her baby father is fucking one of the Kardashians. So, she's foreverly going to have a very high celebrity tick score. And my man's right here was doing his numbers. Right now, did you see his new? I mean, he was in Jamaica like, bruh, he don't play no games. This dude, he knows good-looking women, all right? He knows how to pick them. He was in Jamaica chilling, and he know how to chill. I'm just saying they disrespecting him on the list. How is Ryan on the list, but the champion, who Ryan's ducking, got a 4-fight plan, ain't on the list? Like, ESPN is funny style, man. That was Carl Moretti and Bob Arum specifically said, keep the prospect off the list. They don't want him there because he coming. How you going to say Devin and Teofimo ain't a fight for the future? Like, they clowning right now.
Yeah, they definitely overlooked him. Whatever the reasons are, I'm not sure, but they definitely overlooked him, and he deserves all the credit for everything he's built up.
How do you put old ass Carl Frampton there, but you don't put Devin?
Yeah, Carl Frampton's got a lot of potential to be a star, but 620.
But that's what I'm saying. But Mario hasn't, like, they're talking about stars on the rise.
Yes.
And they, I'm not gonna lie and say they didn't say, people that have the potential to come back, and be a star. Yeah. But Frampton shows vulnerability already in the ring because he's moved up. He started his career at 122, won a title at 122 and 126. Now he's fighting at like 130. You know what I mean? They wilding. They overlook him. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, that's okay. I had to go and check and make sure that he had 620. Not that I think you're lying or anything. It's just so preposterous to think that Devin Haney has more followers on Instagram than some of the biggest names.
2 years ago, he was sleeping with Black China. What are you talking about? Like 2 years ago.
You're right. No. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it or that it's unearned. I'm just saying that it's crazy to me. Like that's it's good. It's amazing for him. And that even is more reason why you have to up his ceiling. I have a ceiling at a 5. I think he has all the makings of a real generational talent.
Bro, the fact
and a superstar at matchmaking, making fights.
The fact that Dan Rayfield is notorious for putting out purses. Find me a Teofimo Ryan Garcia $1 million purse. I bet you find $1 million purses for Devin. Like, how are you saying this kid ain't a star, but they paying him $1 million already per fight? They wilding. Yeah, it's disrespect. His levels is crazy right here, bro. Levels, and I'm not even like, this is not like my new favorite fighter. It's just like facts, Ceiling. We see the talent. So until proven otherwise, 5. Skills, 5.
5.
KO ability, 5. Biggest market, I guess a 4, right? Because he can. I'm going 5. I'm jumping out the window. Why? I'm jumping out the window because the world is starting to realize more and more that he's the perception. Because I don't want to disrespect his father. Everybody knows his father, BH, who's my man's in them. Is the true trainer. He's in that corner, but his father has allowed him to go and train with numerous trainers. But he's gotten the most cachet from training with Floyd Sr. Mm-hmm. I got pad videos with 1 million views with Devin doing pad work with Sr. You know what I mean? So he's got that Floyd Mayweather cachet. Plus Floyd really embraces him. I'm not going to say he endorses him just yet. Only when he was trying to sign him. Since then, they just take pictures together. Obviously, they have some sort of relationship. But Floyd hasn't come out and said anything like he said about Crawford or Gervonta about Devin just yet. But he's got that Floyd Mayweather cachet and I want to say residual. I mean, yo, he got the resemblance. He posts pictures himself because he's intelligent. He posts pictures side by side with Floyd all the time, whether they're pictures that they took together or they're cropping 2 pictures of them in the ring. Their styles are similar. You know, the swag is similar. You know, one would say they copied the blueprint, but that's okay. It could be the Devin Haney blueprint. They could call it what they want. What I call it? Working. It's working.
Yeah, no, you're right. And look, I've been keeping track of this. Okay, so for those that don't know or just tuned in, we have gone through lists awarding people 1 through 5, and we went through Ryan Garcia, we went through Gervonta Davis, we went through